Sometimes our mind likes to play tricks on us, and it plays the I don't know game where it convinces you that you really have no idea what it is you would prefer to do. Yesterday, we talked a little bit about how there are so many people in the world that are smart and capable, experienced, well educated, and yet they're stuck in jobs that they wish they could get out of, but they can't figure out what it is they prefer to do, or they can't figure out how to get to the thing it is that they want to do because it just seems too overwhelming given their current circumstances, whether it be family obligations, paying off debt, etc., etc. Oftentimes, when we ask ourselves or when we're asked, well, what would you love to do? The immediate response will be, I don't know. It's just a mechanism by which our mind dismisses something that potentially could be, quote, dangerous to the status quo. It's designed to protect us and to keep us safe in what is right now. But it's denying us our truth. It's denying us our desire. It's disabling us from going within and really feeling what it is we would love to do. So, some tips to go beyond this. It can be writing. Writing is a great way to let the flow out. Just sit and journal. Just start writing, imagining what your ideal day is, including work. I would love to go to work at this time. These are the sorts of things that I would do. These are the type of people I would love to work with. This is the type of company or the type of work organization that I'd love to be involved with. This is the contribution I want to make in the world. This is the kind of work-life balance I'd love to be. This is the type of commute I'd love, blah, 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 blah. Let it flow. Don't think, don't judge. Just see what comes out. Just see what you end up writing on the page and read it back to yourself. See if that jives with you. Another is close your eyes, get centered, choose to empty yourself, and ask yourself, okay, what would I really love to do? Probably you're going to hit resistance. Okay, that's fine. Say again. Okay, I choose to be of service to myself. I acknowledge these thoughts that are coming up for me. I acknowledge that I don't know. I acknowledge that I'm hitting resistance to this. And you can tell yourself, I'm playing an imagination game. May not take any action on this, but just, I know I don't know, but if I did know, this is what I would love to do. It's a way to disarm the ego so that it's not taking it too seriously. It's going to perhaps allow you to breach that gate, if you will, because, okay, this is just a game. Not taking this seriously, not taking any action. It's a way for you to access those answers that it's trying to keep you from. Think back to when you were a child. Oftentimes, you already knew what you wanted to be when you grew up. Think about what sort of professions did you impersonate, did you emulate when you were young? What did you love doing in your spare time? Did you paint? Did you pretend to be a teacher? Were you pretending to be a doctor? What sort of activities were there? Maybe you pretended to be a doctor, but really it was, you know what, I loved interacting with my dolls and I love taking care of them. Maybe you're a caretaker. Maybe you'd love to be a nurse or someone who takes care of senior citizens or a rehab specialist. All of these are ways to just go back to the core. Now, from an intuition standpoint, those are ways, believe it or not, to access your intuition. There's no special process in which you access. If you do want to get a bit more meditative, go back to what I was originally talking about, where you close your eyes and you just acknowledge all the charge you have around this subject. You acknowledge all the conversations you've been having with people, whether or with people or with yourself internally. You acknowledge the feelings that you have, whether that be anxiety, sadness, disappointment, frustration at your current circumstances. Acknowledge everything that's going on for you around this. Acknowledge that maybe you don't believe that it's possible for you to really receive intuition. Maybe you don't believe it's possible for you to actually be what it is you know that you want to be. But you're willing to give it a shot and see maybe there is a way to figure this out. Just acknowledge all these things and then choose to set them aside. Close your eyes and choose to be in a state of innocence, a place where there are no thoughts and feelings and beliefs. You're just empty. Choose to empty yourself. And now imagine drawing a circle around yourself. And with that circle is your true nature and purpose. It's what you were born to do on this earth. It's why you're here. And you've just assigned yourself that. You defined yourself. And so now you're asking to receive, what is my true nature and purpose? I've defined myself as such, and just experience what that is. Step into that with your eyes closed. Just imagine, what does that look like? And remember, you cannot get this wrong. There are no right answers. And so it is impossible for you to do this wrong. It is impossible for you to get the wrong thing, or a lot of times people will say, well, I don't know if what I got is really it. Just go with what you get. What do you see? What do you feel? What do you hear? What are you experiencing? You may choose to write that down and then expand upon it. You may choose to just experience it. And then maybe the next day you choose to do it again. See if you get a little bit more. We all know the answers. We just tell ourselves that we don't know. Now, the same principles can be applied to, I already know what it is that I would love to do, but it is truly impossible for me to do that because, hey, I have 2 kids and, I have bills to pay and, I'd have to go back to school to do this, and this would require an entire lifestyle change. Intuition can help with this as well. Using the same methods that I talked about just now, you can ask yourself, what are my true next steps to take? You acknowledge your current reality. You acknowledge all the concerns you have and all the realities that you have. We're not dismissing the fact that you have bills to pay, that maybe you don't have enough money to do what it is. Maybe you live in a place that doesn't offer what it is you're looking for. Maybe there are real changes that would need to happen in your life in order to make this happen. You acknowledge all of that. You lay that all out there. You also acknowledge, by the way, how you feel about this, any beliefs. I would love to be this, but actually I kind of judge that. I actually think that I judge people that do that, and I'm surprised that that's what I want to do. I always kind of look down at people who did that, or, I just don't see how that's going to work. Just whatever comes up. And again, you step into, what is that true vision? I know all those things, but this is how I see myself doing this. In an ideal world, in that perfect world, I would be doing this. And this is what that feels like. Identify the actual emotion that you're feeling in that vision. How does that make me feel? And stick with that. Hold on to that. Make that connection. Come up with as many details as you can about what that vision is. And as you're dwelling in that space, look back at the current reality, revisit that for a second, and ask yourself, how did I get from the current reality to the vision? What are the true next steps for me to take? Write those down. They may be simple, like connect to the love of what you have. It may be go talk to so-and-so. It may be journal every day. It can be literally anything, and it might be a number of things. And keep doing that. Follow through on those bridges and keep tuning back into the vision and acknowledging the current reality. Maybe it's the same as it was a couple of weeks ago. Maybe it's changed. Ask yourself again, how do I get from the current reality to the vision? And you're going to keep producing bridges that are going to take you along. But you have to connect to that emotion of the vision. You have to be invested in that. It can't be something that you're just seeing and letting fly by. You have to be holding on to that. Keep reconnecting to that emotion throughout the day. Like when you're sitting at work and you're like, God, I hate this so much. Visit your vision. Connect to that joy or whatever that emotion is that you love in that vision. And ask yourself, what's true to do now? Reconnect to that. The more you connect to that vision, the more you concretize it. And it's no longer this ethereal thing that's just in the clouds. You're creating it. Every day you're bringing it down into this earth, and you're taking next steps to get yourself there. So those are a few techniques to help you identify and get past the I don't know, to identify what is your true nature and purpose, or if you already are clear on that, how to get from your current reality to your vision. We'll talk more specifics next week. We'll talk more topics, more questions. Please send your questions in. Happy weekend to everyone. See you soon.